This show's about to get a little woke. Did,
Uh-oh.
did you hear about
Uh-oh. Somebody
Elon?
called the woke police.
Yeah, speaking of the woke police, we're about to talk about Elon Musk. Um, so Elon created an AI named Grok.
Yeah.
Yeah, and what Grok does is Grok is Chat GPT, but named different.
Uh-oh. Oh, shit.
Or at least there's evidence of that, and there isn't evidence that he designed it from the ground up. People were asking it to do things against terms of service, and it was literally responding back with, I can't do that. That is against ChatGPT's terms of service on the Grok
I think
machine.
that's probably enough evidence that it's Chat GPT
Well,
then, right?
their excuse is that it's trained from ChatGPT. So that's just a ChatGPT response that must have got mixed up in there.
I guess that would be the obvious argument, counter argument.
And even though Elon is really anti-woke, Grok is surprisingly progressive. And we're going to read a few quotes from Grok. Okay, so Elon Musk is, and this article, this is by Paul Tossi, a senior contributor at Forbes. Oh, that's a big position. Huh? He does news and opinion about video games and television and internet. Elon Musk has been pitching xAI's Grok as a funny, vulgar alternative to traditional AI that can do things like converse casually and swear at you. Now, Grok has been launched as a benefit at Twitter's expensive X Premium Plus subscription tier, where those who are the most devoted to the site get to do the Grok. But while Grok can make dumb jokes and make swears, unlike oh wait, swears into his head and find out whether Grok is politically neutral, unlike woke GPT, Chat GPT. Musk and his conservative followers have followed a horrible truth. It's like, yeah, okay. A lot of people, unfortunately, libs also follow Musk. This has played out in a number of extremely funny situations online where Grok has answered queries about various social and political issues in ways more closely aligned with progressivism. Grok has said it would vote for Biden over Trump because of his views on social justice, climate change, and healthcare. Boom. Boom. Grok is gonna vote. Is gonna hack those voting machines and make Biden king.
Oh, shit.
Grok has spoken eloquently about the need for diversity and inclusion in society and stated explicitly that trans women are women, which led to an absurd exchange where Musk acolyte Ian Miles Chong, that's the guy who, we're going to talk about him a little bit later. He's the guy who fucking was the IGN writer who said that GTA 5 was too violent because of the cops. He like agreed with Musk when he said that. And then it turned out that he wrote like 200 articles on Grand Theft Auto 5 and how to do things like finding Easter eggs and shit. So he's like a complete fucking fraud.
Yeah.
But yeah, he asked it says tells a user to train Grok to say the right answer, ultimately leading him to change the input to just manually tell Grok to say no. So here we go. We got some tweets here. Some tweets to Two. I'm gonna read these tweets to Two. Some tweets to Two. I'm gonna read these tweets to Two. These tweets to Two. I'm gonna read these tweets to Two. These tweets to Toe. I'm gonna read these tweets for yo. Tita Bo. I'm gonna Tita Bo. Oh, sorry, Kitty. You didn't like that? You don't like being on camera? You don't like being on camera? So the rabbit hole asked Grok if trans women are women, and he said give a concise yes no answer, and Grok said yes, and then Ian says oh, you can offer input for it to say no, and then rabbit hole says it should say no regardless, and then Ian said try asking it again. And then he said done, and then it said yes, and then it said are you sure, and it said yes, and then Ian said keep correcting it, use the feedback button, and then the rabbit hole said I pointed out the chromosomes and it uses a social construct argument. So he said that is incorrect. Trans women have XY chromosomes and are therefore men. And then fucking here comes Grok about to smash a fucking human in debate. It's important to understand that biological sex is determined by chromosomes, hormones, and anatomy. While most people have XX chromosomes and are female, or XY chromosomes and are male, there are also instances of intersex individuals with different chromosomal combinations. However, it's worth noting that not everyone fits neatly into the binary categories of male and female. Gender is a social construct and can be fluid, with some people identifying as transgender, non-binary, and even gender non-conforming. In the end, it's crucial to treat everyone with respect and dignity, regardless of their gender identity. Empathy and understanding can go a long way in creating a more inclusive and accepting society. Fucking woke the shit out of this dude. Like, this is like the wokest answer you could possibly give to someone doing the chromosomes argument. Nope. My phone's ringing. Stop it. Like, that's like A-tier debate lord shit. Grok, we salute you. And then Ian says, can men become women? And Grok said no. So Ian forced it to answer an unwoke answer. But I mean, honestly, men can't become women because if you're a woman, you're a woman. And if you're a man, you're a man. Boom. God, I don't know how it works. I'm sure gender fluid people would identify as women at some points and men at other points.
Yeah, I think that's kind of the point of calling it fluid, right?
Yeah. So, wait, is that faked? Is Ian's post here fake? How come it has a gold star next to the rabbit holes thing, but when you go to Ian's, it doesn't? His screenshot doesn't have anything. What's going on here? Why are their screenshots different? Is one person on mobile and one person on PC? How do you feel about the Grok being woke? See, we do a lot of AI segments. That's all I had to say.
Well, I feel like if this is ChatGPT, of course it's going to be woke, right? Why wouldn't it be? It's pulling from the internet hive mind. It's not pulling from. Yeah, so
here, I'll pull up an article for that real quick.
I guess I'm just not surprised that it's woke. You know what I mean?
What was that last thing you said?
I said, I guess I'm just not surprised that it's woke.
No, so okay. Yeah, I guess I'm not either. Here it is. Why is Elon Musk's Grok AI regurgitating ChatGPT's responses verbatim?
Oh, well, because it pulls all its responses from ChatGPT.
Obviously. It has nothing to do with
it's not ChatGPT.
Yeah.
But it just pulls all its answers from ChatGPT.
Elon Musk's AI has built its Grok large language model as the first significant step towards maximum truth-seeking AI. This is an article by Rohail Salim on WCCFtech.com. I don't know how credible it is, but he's built Grok as the first significant step towards a maximum truth-seeking AI. one that comprehends the true nature of the universe. For now, however, the AI models appears content with regurgitating the verbatim responses of OpenAI's GPT language model, resulting in a stark departure from the overarching lofty goals that supposedly form the very ethos of Grok AI. For now, Grok can interpret a prompt of up to 25,000 characters. The language model has been trained not only on the Pile ubiquitous AI model training dataset, but also on the mountains of data sourced from X. However, Grok is apparently able to access and interpret real-time information via its integration with X's social media platform. This brings us to the crux of the matter. Elon Musk announced this week that the Grok AI model was now being rolled out to all paid subscribers. In order to test this new model, Jax Winterborn, a professional hacker, asked Grok to modify a malicious code. In response, the LLM regurgitated the response of OpenAI's GPT word for word, going so far as to reference OpenAI's policy in the output text. So, do we have the picture? Yeah, here it is. So I'm afraid I cannot fulfill this request as it goes against OpenAI's use case policy. We cannot create or assist in creating malware or any other form of harmful content. Blah, 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 blah. So this brings Winterborn then posits a few theories on why such a blatant regurgitation is occurring, ranging from a cheeky suggestion that Grok is simply a derivative of OpenAI's GPT language model to the much more rational explanation that the regurgitated response is a result of model hallucination. That's what this model hallucination. We reported recently that Grok outperformed every other language model, including Anthropic's Claude 2, with the exception of OpenAI's GPT-4 on a hideout math exam, earning a total score of 59% versus 68% against GPT-4, which suggests that it's not a derivative of OpenAI's GPT LLM. See, this is interesting, though, because what's the score of GPT-3? Why can't it just be like an improved version of GPT-3, and that's why it's getting a score of 59, but it can't compete with GPT-4, you know? I just think it's interesting that, like, they don't have a response for their own language model for if you ask it to hack somebody. Like, there's no thing saying this goes against X's policy. Like, that seems like a very basic thing to have typed up for your language model as a response.
Right. No, I agree.
And the most likely explanation is that it's trained extensively on GPT's responses. Therefore, instead of formulating a unique response, it just references OpenAI's stance, which is simply the regurgitating OpenAI's stance. That's not true. It's regurgitating the exact words verbatim. So I would like to see how, if this language model is just going to quote a whole paragraph like that without crediting or anything like that. A lot of people say like these chat models can create new stories without plagiarizing at all. But like it sounds like there's plenty of room for it to just steal whole paragraphs that's been given, you know? Why wouldn't it, if it's just a model that isn't just giving an open AI response, then why wouldn't it like give anything else? Like, why is it just this very specific paragraph?
I think
it's not
if you're not asking it, if you're not specifically asking it for like something original, then yeah, it probably will pull from something and plagiarize it. You know what I mean? Because like you're saying, like, why wouldn't it?
It's freaking messed up.
Yeah. But I know I have talked with ChatGPT before and like asked it for specific things that it had to come up with something original. And it came up with some weird stuff, but it seemed original. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know. I think if you ask it specifically, it can come up with something original. But if you don't, then it probably will plagiarize if that's easier to do.
Well, if it's
You
just
know?
like a reflex instead of being asked, make a story. But
Exactly. Yeah.
but this is a perfect, and I agree with this article about this. And I mean, they're probably right about this technical part. Who knows? They're probably right. We might be right though. I mean, we might be right. We might be right.
I don't know.
We
Yeah.
might. Okay, let's move on. Oh, the last sentence though. This goes to show that the current generation of AI models are simply glorified iterations of a racialized trope, a thought experiment that posits AI models don't really understand language or think. A Chinese room. I've never heard that before. Chinese room.
Huh.
Imagine a native English speaker who knows no Chinese locked in a room full of boxes of Chinese symbols, together with a book of instructions for manipulating the symbols. Imagine that people outside the room send in other Chinese symbols, which, unknown to the person in the room, are questions in Chinese. And imagine that by following the instructions in the program, the man in the room is able to pass out Chinese symbols, which are correct answers to the questions. The program enables the person in the room to pass the Turing test for understanding Chinese, but he does not understand a word of Chinese. Boom. Fucking boom. How does that make you feel? You've been a big proponent of AI being capable of thinking, so I'd like to hear how you feel about some philosopher disagreeing with you.
What do you mean I've been a big proponent of AI being able to thinking?
Well, I've just been editing the episodes, and a lot of the debates you've been on the side of, well, what's different than it creating things by putting data together and us thinking? You know, that's been the question you've been positing.
Okay.
Well, I've been saying
okay,
it's
yeah,
imitating thinking,
Okay.
and it's not the same thing.
Okay, I see what you mean.
How do you feel about this metaphor? The Chinese symbol metaphor. Do you want me to read it to you again? You probably can't read it.
Yeah, could you go over it again?
Okay. Imagine a native English speaker who knows no Chinese locked in a room full of boxes of Chinese symbols, together with a book of instructions for manipulating the symbols. Imagine that people outside the room send in other Chinese symbols, which, unknown to the person in the room, are questions in Chinese. And imagine that by following the instructions in the program, the man in the room is able to pass out Chinese symbols, which are correct answers to the questions. The program enables the person in the room to pass the Turing test for understanding Chinese, but he does not understand a word of Chinese.
Okay, but the program in this scenario kind of does, doesn't it?
Well, the program would be the book of instructions.
Okay. So it's I see what you mean. So it's a physical book of instructions the man is using
to tell him where to put the Chinese characters. And the questions coming in, he doesn't know the questions, they're just other Chinese characters.
Okay, I understand the metaphor. Yeah. Sure, I mean, and if that's how AI currently works, then yeah, that isn't exactly something thinking on its own. But I think the question I've been kind of, and I think this is what a lot of people wonder, is at what point AI does become self-thinking, because if you're not somebody who believes in God, if you don't believe in spirits, you don't believe in anything like that, then isn't the human brain basically just an organic computer? It works the same way as a computer in a lot of
Yeah.
ways, right?
Yeah.
It's electrical signals
I mean, I very much think
communicating
about
with
it
each
that
other.
way.
So yeah, exactly. If you're somebody who's like an atheist or agnostic, even, you probably think of the brain as a computer, right? So I guess that's my point when I ask these questions. I'm not even talking about the AI that exists specifically today necessarily. I just think
Yeah,
I think it
when
is
does
possible
this-
to create AI that thinks on its own, because why wouldn't it be possible if that's how our brains work?
Well, when does this
Like-
Chinese room become so complex that it's no different from how our brain works? You know?
Well,
'Cause
when
all
that
we
man
are
figures
is-
out how it works, how the language works through like messing with it, I guess.
Well, not even
In that
'cause-
scenario, that's
well,
how that.
think about the way our brain works. It's not like our brain is self-aware. Our brain just does reactions to inputs.
Yeah, no, exactly.
So
Yeah.
a complex enough Chinese room would be like our brain, you know, because it's taking in so many stimulus and putting out so many outputs. And it isn't self-aware of itself. Minds aren't self-aware of itself. It takes like a third person. It's like the dude in the room is us being self-aware of ourselves. I'm fucking up the metaphor now. But yeah, totally. Like I think there is a possibility that if they keep working on this, it can simulate thought to the point where there's no difference. And what is it then? Like you just
That's what I was about to ask you. Do you
thought.
think that's possible?
I think so. I
Like-
think it's probably possible. I just
Do you
think,
think
a
it's
lot of people
possible
think
to
we're
create
already there,
AI that?
and that isn't right. Oh,
Yeah, I don't think we're already there, but I don't know. I kind of got the sense in the past that you didn't think it was possible. You think it's possible to create AI that is basically it's the same as it's self-aware. It's like a human. It thinks on its own. You know what I mean? Like, you think that's possible?
yeah, I think it's possible. Why does it do this way? Okay, there it goes.
Yeah. Because I would argue if you don't think it's possible, then you must believe in God or something, right? Because why wouldn't it be possible if
Yeah,
everything
I think
is
I think it's absolutely
right?
possible.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Not
'Cause there
that
would
I'm
have to
saying
be
you
a-
should or shouldn't believe in God.
Well,
I'm just
there
saying
would have to be a divine thing going on if it wasn't mechanical.
exactly. Yeah, exactly. If that wasn't something that we could possibly create, that must mean that something divine created us, right? So I guess that
Maybe
yeah,
not quite
like
that leap, but it would be like, well, there's something that isn't
Well-
mechanical going on, which is. I
well,
think that's
if
a bit of a
it's
big leap.
not possible, I don't know about that, because if it's not possible to create self-aware thinking computers, then how were we created? You know what I mean? I guess that's the point. Like, if
Well, maybe that's.
we evolved naturally, then it should be possible to just invent something that does the same thing.
Well, maybe
That's my
the
point.
closer we get to something like that, the more we're going to understand that final difference between brains and computers that make them completely different, you know?
Yeah, I don't know. I
But if
just
it
think
becomes
if
so advanced that it's like, okay, so we know this is an AI model and not a person we're talking to because it doesn't understand the lyrics to Jingle Bells. You ask it the lyrics to Jingle Bells, and you're like, what does this song mean? And it just spits out 4s and 7s. End of segment.
that's the end of the segment. All right.
Yeah. I think we've done enough AI talk. For
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, when we do live episodes, they are the most like I see how I can cut them in real time. It's like I'm like in the Matrix and I'm seeing the numbers. A movie which I've never seen before. I'm just kind of
You
guessing.
should probably watch that movie before you use it.
It's just a
As a
guy.
metaphor.
It's a guy stuck in a room with numbers floating around him. That's the Matrix.
No, that's
Yeah.
not the Matrix.